Hey guys, welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to go around and pick up my 1983 Mitsubishi Mirage project car. Now if you haven't seen the first video I've done on the car, it's a Mitsubishi Mirage and I've done a engine transplant in it, and it's got a 4G63T motor in it. So we're going to go around, pick it up today. Now I've booked a truck and we'll get the car loaded onto that. Now the only thing is the weather's not looking too good out there today. It's a bit of a wet one. Hopefully that rain will ease off a bit. So the only thing that needs doing on the car is the bonnet needs putting on. So I've just got tools here to do that job, and that should be enough. Okay, well I'll just load up the car and we'll go around there and we'll take a look and see what needs to be done. Okay, here we are. So if you recall from the last video, this is my Mitsubishi Mirage and I've done a 4G63T engine swap into it. Still a little bit of work to do on it yet. I guess the first part of the journey is just getting it back to my place anyway, and then I can continue working on it there. So I've got the bonnet up here, just got that covered by a sheet. What I want to do is just get this refitted to the car. So we'll refit that and then we'll roll it out of the garage and then wait for the truck. Right, so the bonnet's fitted. So you can see here I've cut out a notch for this cam gear to stick through. What I'm going to do is just cover that just with some plastic just underneath the bonnet, just because it's raining, and just to stop that water from getting into the cam gear. Welcome back. We've successfully moved the car around to the garage. Little bit of a mission pulling it in with the cable puller, but we got it in the end, so that was a job well done. Now I had an idea. I might just look at researching a electric winch just to mount on the floor down here. That way if I do need to push the car out, pulling it in will just be that little bit easier. Now in the last video I had a couple of questions just regarding the brake and suspension setup on this car. So you can see that I've lowered the car here, and I thought just to finish this video off I'll just show you what I've done with the brakes and suspension in this car. So I thought we'll start under the bonnet and then we'll just work our way from front to back of the car and we'll just take a look. So we'll just pop the bonnet or hood if you're watching from the US. Now if we start off at the top of the suspension strut tower here, you'll notice that I've got adjustable camber plates here. Now these are just Cusco camber plates, and what I've done is I've just cut them down and re-stud them just to match the stud pattern of this tower here. Now I've still got some camber plates just in my stores here, so if we go over I can show you what they originally looked like. Let's open this up. So these are actually camber plates here that I've cut down, just re-drilled to be re-studded. I didn't end up using these ones, they were just a little bit rough. This is a original camber plate, so you can see the sort of before and after result. Now I think this is either a Evo 1-3 camber plate or a early VR4 camber plate, just the Galant VR4s. From memory they use the same front suspension, but don't quote me on that, but it's pretty similar anyway. Now you may recall in my first video I've installed a brake bias adjuster on this car. Now this car came originally equipped with rear drum brakes, and I've converted the rear to disc. On this setup from factory there's a little bit more bias to the rear wheels, so if you've got discs all round and brake hard, the rear tend to lock up before the front. This system, before I took the car off the road, I installed and worked really well, and the braking improved dramatically. So yeah, the only thing I'm probably not happy with is just this line work. So I've done all this myself, but just this bend here probably looks a little bit messy. So one day I'll clean that up and tidy it up a bit. Now the last thing we're going to do is just remove the front and rear wheel of the car, and I'll show you the brake and suspension setup. Now as I mentioned before, I'm running a Tein front adjustable coil over there, and it's either out of a Evo 1-3 or a Mitsubishi Galant VR4. Now it's possible I'll need to get these revalved if I'm going to be playing with the spring rates in this car, and I might have to because this is made for a different type of car. So coming into a smaller car it may need to be changed. Looking at the brake setup here, got a DBA slotted and vented front rotor, 266mm. And this is a disc setup that's out of a Mitsubishi Sigma GSR. Now if you're looking for a brake setup for these cars, you can also use Cordia GSR brakes. That might be an easy option for someone looking for an upgrade. Now if we just move around to the sway bars here, now just the way the car's jacked up at the moment, I'm not going to be able to show you a good view of it, but this is a Whiteline sway bar. This was a huge improvement from the factory option, which basically I was just able to fold in half when I took it off the car. So this is solid metal. So I will include some photos just of the sway bar setup when the car was last on a hoist, just so you can see what the sway bars look like under the car. Now just moving to the rear of the car here, you can see I'm not running the standard spring in this car. So this is a King spring branded rear spring. It's a lowering spring, so just running that and a Munro branded GT gas shock. Now if we look at the brake setup here, this is again out of a Sigma GSR. Same size again, so it's 266mm. But it's a solid rear disc. Now just moving to the rear trailing arm here, this is off a 1984 Mitsubishi Mirage Turbo, and there's just a slight difference on this one. I'll put some photos up just so you can have a look and see what I've done, but this trailing arm has a small sway bar just in the center of the trailing arm, and moving down here you can see the addition of a Whiteline sway bar. So I'll include some photos because I can't get low enough under the car at the moment, but you can sort of see the setup there and just what it looks like under the car. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. It's good to get this car back into my garage now. Hopefully you've learnt a little bit just on the brake and suspension setup on this car. So I'll be slowly working away at this car and I'll just video the progress as I go along. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.